Yeah, you could tell the first game was the studio's first ever game. It feels like a proper AAA release, and they aren't even that big of a studio. Yeah, okay, hold on. For you to be able to go into Steam, go to the store page, and where's it at? It was in the community thing, actually. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, 2 million strong. It went like a week or so, and it went from like 1 million to 2 million. Maybe even that long. It hasn't been that long. Okay, yeah. Wednesday, February 5th. And then by the 17th, 12 days, less than 2 weeks, they sold another 1 million copies. But we're going to watch this video together. Let me know if the volume needs to be adjusted. So there's a lot of people interested in it. It sold 2 million copies, so it's got to be for a good reason, you know? Gaming Bolt.
Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is finally here, or it should be by the time you're watching this. And like protagonist Henry of Skalitz, the franchise has come a long way. The first title initially began development in 2012 with crowdfunding going live in 2014 to push its production further.
This is already on PS5.
2018's Kingdom Come Deliverance, an ambitious title.
Yeah, see, Zach,
on medieval in 15th
exactly.
Romania. Like the setting, its launch was anything but fantastical, with numerous bugs, loading issues, etc. Performance issues bogged down the PS4 and Xbox One.
I would consider it a must-play.
While it wasn't as disastrous as, say, Cyberpunk 2077, it would take multiple updates to get it to an acceptable state for players.
He's talking about
dark memories, though, because Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is a...
I think he was talking about Kingdom Come Deliverance in that first section, and now I think he's moving on to 2.
Different beast entirely. It performs exceptionally well on PC.
Oh, there we go.
The PS5 version, the only console we tested, has a few noticeable hangups. The results prove more than satisfactory. Without further ado, let's dive into the technical aspects, graphical fidelity, and performance of both versions and see what makes them shine.
It's probably, I would assume it's on Xbox, because he just said that the only thing that they tested it on was PlayStation. That's probably just what they had readily available for a test video. Like if I were to make a test video right now, I'd have to go out and buy a console and set it all up. So they probably just did this because it was what they had available. Yeah, so it'll tell you up top, of course, what it is. I can't even tell the difference between how I run it and the PlayStation right now. Can't hear well? Okay, got you. 1 second.
I'll fetch her and we'll follow right behind. I'll go with you. No.
And turn the video quality down too, just because I'm streaming.
Engine overview and improvements over Kingdom Come Deliverance. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 runs on Crytek's CryEngine, and while it's very much the same engine as the first game in name, there have been heavy modifications. This is also the case for the sequel. Stoltz Zwilling even went as far to say that it's, quote, very different from what one would call a CryEngine. Kingdom Come Deliverance wasn't a bad-looking game by any stretch, yet its follow-up boasts some very impressive improvements. Lighting and shadows look more natural and realistic, with the tones more accurately reflecting the latter. The lighting improvements are all the more noticeable on characters, with Henry's facial features coming across as more defined.
Yeah, this looks great on console.
It also doesn't hurt that physically based materials are used, which looks impressive all around, whether you're admiring chain link mail or gawking at shiny pauldrons. Environmental textures have seen a noticeable bump in quality, especially on the ground and in foliage, while reflections are more natural.
The reflections look so nice too.
In terms of graphical settings, there's a fair amount to tweak, but nothing too crazy, including object quality, particles, lighting, and global illumination. You can also
He's running on Ultra. Yeah, Jesus.
Textures, post-processing.
I don't even know if I could do that.
Details on volumetric effects.
I haven't tried, but
and vegetation. A horizontal FOV slider is available alongside motion blur and near depth of field settings, while upscaler options include NVIDIA DLSS and AMD FSR 3.1. All the usual options are available, including quality, performance, balanced, and native AA.
Oh, advertisement. I'm not a YouTube premium subscriber. My fault. Okay. Ooh. Yeah, like, isn't that sweet, dude? Look at that guy's face. Oh, okay.
Rig hardware and graphics setting.
We'll check that one out after this.
Our test rig for the PC version consisted of an AMD Ryzen 9 59.
Yeah, there you go.
X, a NVIDIA
you said you had a
RTX 3080.
So you said you had a 3090. They're running all this on a 3080
Ti, 64 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM, and an NVMe PCIe 4.0 SSD.
So they give you the breakdown of what they're running too,
3840
which is nice.
by 2160, and the frame rate limit to 120 FPS with VSync enabled, with a horizontal FOV of 90.
Honestly, once I upgrade my PC, I would actually consider running this game again in its entirety, just for like everything that I couldn't upscale beforehand. It's just so beautiful already at low.
Motion blur and
That's got to be like
OF enabled.
You're doing yourself a disservice by not playing it.
We set
high.
everything to ultra and the anti-aliasing to SMAA2TX. NVIDIA DLSS was also enabled and set to performance. PC performance. Even with everything set to ultra and 4K resolution, we achieved some very smooth frame rates on PC, hovering at 60 to 65 frames per second throughout, occasionally even going up to 80 to 82 FPS. During cutscenes, it would drop to 30 frames per second.
Yeah, I think it's hard locked at 30 though.
60 to 65. It is worth noting, however, that
in cutscenes,
NPC-heavy scenes, the frame.
Yeah, I think maybe they didn't know at the time, but I've seen a lot of stuff saying that the cutscenes are hard stuck locked at 30 FPS, even though I do think that there's modifications you can do in game files or just straight mods to uncap that. So something to consider.
Frame rate would drop to 49 to 54 frames per second. The same could be observed later during a sequence where multiple NPCs are fighting and fires are raging, dropping to as low as 47 frames.
How'd he miss that?
Before going back up again after things calm down. It's worth noting that the PC version also suffers from slight pop-in, emphasis on the slight. Granted, it's much less common than on PS5's quality mode, but you'll still notice it from time to time, especially when riding on horseback.
One thing I want to add when he was talking about bugs, a couple of the ones that I personally have experienced is there are some side quests. I had this happen yesterday. Zach was here for it, where certain aspects of the game won't really continue. So if you need to get through something like a set of wooden boards and a floor, it just wouldn't be broken. You'd have to find a way to work around that. I'm sure there's going to be things that people are so focused on the main story that they're going to probably smooth out the main story and then update things for the side quest, fix those problems, I would imagine. And I've had instances where you're doing blacksmithing and how you saw me hitting an axe earlier, the sword will kind of slide through the anvil, or maybe some graphical issues where you're loading back in after waiting for some time for the little dial to spin and it switches back into the gameplay transition. Everything kind of loads in low resolution. That could just be on my end because of graphical limitations. But those are the only bugs I've run into so far, and they're not game breaking, which is an A+ in my book compared to how bad it could be or how bad it is compared to other games. So just my little touch there.
PS5 performance versus quality mode. PS5 and Xbox Series X benefit from two graphics modes, performance and fidelity.
Quality definitely doesn't look
2560 by 1440 resolution.
It looks better, but it doesn't look like it runs better.
Upscaled to 4K courtesy of FSR. The latter offers 60 FPS, but at 1080p resolution, upscaled to 14.
So, little side note while we're watching this, I'm gonna see if I can get a frame of it.
There is a noticeable drop in sharpness, and those slight drops are visible at certain points.
Okay. So the only thing that I can really tell on the difference wise for these is performance mode just looks smoother. Like it looks like you just kind of rubbed away of course, the higher details. The only thing that sticks out to me on the left is it looks like they bumped up the sharpness and took like the light dark curve, if you've ever edited anything like Photoshop or just an editing program, and they darkened the most detailed textures that really have them pop. But it seems like there's a high pass like grainy sharpness filter where they bumped it up like 85%. That's the only thing that I can really tell just off of the comparison there.
Performance is otherwise very consistent. However, both modes suffer from pop-in. It's most egregious on performance and much less so on
the lights are really light and the darks are darker.
We also noticed lower frame rates on NPC shadows ahead of the player during the initial horse ride.
Does that make sense? What I said earlier? Because that's what I see. Yeah, I mean, quality looks nice if you're going for looking nice. But if you just the same ads, if you're wanting to experience the game and actually play to the best of its ability aside from quality, yeah, if you're on PlayStation, performance mode for sure.
Versus PS5 quality mode. It should come as no surprise, but the PC version is the clear winner here. In terms of image quality, resolution, and performance, it's clearly superior to the PS5 version's quality mode in every way. The latter shouldn't be discounted though, especially with how much fidelity it offers alongside a solid frame rate and sharp image quality, but we'd imagine that most would prefer playing performance mode for the 60 FPS bump. Here's hoping that the latter has its pop-in reduced to make it more palatable.
They probably already fixed a lot of these issues on the rolling updates for things, because this has been posted a little bit ago since the official release. God,
Conclusion. There's no two ways about it. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is a massive step up over the original in terms of optimization.
That's what Zach was saying.
The fact that it achieves this while significantly improving the graphical quality is also worthy of praise. You'll want to experience it on PC, which can look stunning and deliver solid performance throughout, though some scenes could still use some more optimization and polish. However, it's great to see that the PS5 version hasn't fallen behind drastically, offering some reliable performance that stays consistent in both quality and performance modes. The pop-in is understandably distracting and can occasionally take away from the latter's experience, which is all the more annoying because of how good 60 FPS feels. Nevertheless, it's leagues ahead of the first game's debut on PS4.
It just seems like in quality mode, like I said, the thing where they drag down like the darkness slider, sure you're getting quality, but the sacrifice that you're making is something that you can't ignore for the performance. So performance mode for sure.
Truly brings the medieval world to
if I had a PlayStation,
stunning detail.
That's where I'm sticking.
Overall, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is a strong success for the series in both the graphical department and overall polish. We didn't run into bugs or glitches during our time testing, making for an ideal experience.
Very nice.
Still on the fence regarding its performance, there's little to fear, though once again, the best possible option, especially in fidelity, is on PC. And that'll be about it.
Very nice.